As you're working on your planner for the nearly perfect hip or hype review, I thought I would demonstrate how I made my planner to kind of give you some guidance on how you might make your planner. Now, there is no one way of writing this particular essay. So the planner is just more about kind of giving you the nuts and bolts of what you want to include somewhere in your review, but not necessarily the order that it's going to go in. So, first off, you got to figure out what you're going to be reviewing. And remember, it should be something that we can experience. So, it might be something that we can purchase or someplace we can go or someplace we can something we can watch or see or something. So, you're reviewing that for us. So, I thought I would review my experience at McDonald's in Willow Street as I shared with all of you in class. Um, so I wrote that down first. Then I talked about just the details. I want to make sure that I know the details of something. So it gives the impression of like saying, hey, I've been there, I've done that. So, however way you want to write it out, make sure you have plenty of details. This could be as specific as cost, this could be location, um, and sometimes if you're reviewing something really, really broad, or like I've had people review CDs or an album that a group has released, you obviously can't review the whole album, but you can then pick out some choice details that you want to share in your review. So you won't be able to express everything sometimes. So, in my details, I want to talk about how we ordered a simple meal, what those particular meals were. So, I want to go into the details of what we actually ordered. I want to talk about the Happy Meal and the toy that came with it, which is from the Disney movie Encanto. We sat at a cool light up table. I want to talk about the particular food that was served to us at the table, and how we had the option of the kitty cone or a cookie. And my daughter chose the kitty cone, but because they were out of kitty cones, she received this ginormous vanilla ice cream cone from Will, who I learned his name after someone in my one of my classes told me his name, who seriously was the nicest employee or manager they have at this Willow Street McDonald's. Seems like everyone knows Will as well. I want to talk about particularly how it was clean, it was fast, it was not overcrowded. The food was okay because I think most fast food is just okay, but that's not what my review is going to be really about. More about the experience overall. So I have plenty of details because I was there, I experienced it. It's fresh in my mind, so I can definitely do that. Underneath that, I'm going to talk about just simply if I had to wrap it up in one sentence. Remember, it's a very short essay, and so I have to keep in mind like what is the overall gist of this thing? Was it hip, meaning it was awesome, or was it just pure hype? And I know you might think of the word hype as being awesome, but typically the word hype is kind of negative. So I'm going to talk about how it was hip. I like this place. So in one single sentence, could I just sum up this review? Just so in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, at the bare bones, this is what I'm trying to get across. It's hip because this McDonald's, compared to the hype of a Chick fil A, for example, was understated and it was unexpected in its service to make us as customers feel special. And that's what my premise is going to be. I'm going to keep driving towards that it was understated, it was unexpected, it was the service more than anything, and it made us feel very special. So I want to make sure I can use the three appeals from Aristotle somewhere in my essay. And so I want to make sure that in my planner, I know how I'm going to then hit those three appeals. So, in terms of logos, meaning our reasoning and logic, some people are motivated by that. So they want to know like the reasoning, the logical reasoning why they should also go to McDonald's. So I want to explain what the value of the full experience. And by value, I don't simply mean like how much it costs to buy the two things we purchased, but really the ease of parking, and how and ordering in the lobby, the speed of the service, the light up table, the food itself, and the bonus dessert. So those are all going to be my logical reasoning that I'm going to use for logos. In terms of pathos, I'm going to try to draw out a particular emotion. I'm just going to focus on one. I want to focus on just to be feeling special and appreciated. So I want to talk about that particular emotion, and I'm going to try to express that in my essay. Um, and then lastly, my ethos, how I'm going to try to connect with the reader. So I'm trying to think like, how can I possibly, get the reader to like me? Well, it's oftentimes it's your voice, but also like, how do you connect personally with this reader? Like, how are they a lot like you? So I thought about it. I thought, well, nearly everyone's had a Happy Meal at McDonald's at some point in their childhood, and everyone's experienced that the long waits and the sheer madness. at other fast food restaurants, like a Chick-fil-A, for example. Not that I'm picking on Chick-fil-A, because I like Chick-fil-A. I'm just saying that there's just some really long waits and just sheer madness at some of these other restaurants. And so I want to connect with the common desire for just a less hectic dining experience. And I think it's something we would all appreciate or want. And then lastly is the broader point beyond the topic itself. And this is the toughest part of this writing, is besides just simply reviewing this particular event at McDonald's, I want to make sure I go beyond that to make a broader point. It doesn't have to be like this big, broad, preachy point. It's just something that just goes beyond just simply the literal experience itself that I'm reviewing. So I wrote this. I wrote that we tend to follow the crowds. If there's a line around the corner, it has to be good. And it probably is. But more than giving ourselves the quick hit of food satisfaction, a meal can be special, memorable, uplifting. Ultimately, food is food. It has a job to do and it does it. But it's the company you eat with, the table you sit at, the smallest gestures of kindness and appreciation that leave lasting impressions. So that's going to be my broader point that I want to arrive at. So just think about what broader point you can arrive at with whatever it is you're reviewing, whether it's a movie or a book or an article of clothing, a brand of clothing you like, a football game that you went to see, or who knows, whatever thing that you want to review. Try to think of that broader point that goes beyond just simply the thing or the experience itself that you want to then share with us. So once again, this is the planner, just trying to get down the nuts and bolts of what I want to use in my writing, but it's not necessarily the order that I'm going to put it all in. Okay.